welcome back to Why This Film, the podcast where we reach back into your childhood, pluck out a movie, give it a rewatch, and have a chat about it. I'm Emily Slade, and welcome back. You watched it so many times before, and now you're gonna watch it again. But it's been so many years since you last saw it, and now you show it to your friends, and they're like, what?
What am I watching?
Why
this?
Why this film? And I'm joined today by Hannah. Hello!
Hello, thank you for having me back.
You are so welcome, because your chosen movie is 1995's Cutthroat Island. The IMDb breakdown. A female pirate and her companion race against their rivals to find a hidden island that contains a fabulous treasure. Why this film?
This was literally the first film my mum shared with me that wasn't like a Disney kids film. It came out 3 years after I was born, and like my mum, if you saw her back then, looks like Gina Davis, like spitting image, got the hair, the whole thing. She looks like the Pirate Queen. And yeah, this was like one of the very, very first films she ever shared with me. So yeah, kind of obsessed. And I've watched it like twice in the last year, because the last time I saw my mum, we were like, what was that film that you showed me when I was a kid? And it's like Pirate Queens, and it's like awesome. And she was like, oh my God, Cutthroat Island, I forgot it existed. So we got to relive the whole thing. Yeah. Just, I love it so much.
That's so good. I'd never even heard of this movie, never even heard of it. And, of course, the second you Google it, the first thing that comes up is everyone's like, this is the movie that killed the pirate genre until Pirates of the Caribbean resurrected in 2003. This movie sucks. This movie's really bad. This movie's terrible. And I was like, I don't know, man. That's Gina Davis right there.
Yes.
It's really not going to be as bad as you think it is.
Exactly.
And of course, it is nowhere near as bad as people say it is. Nowhere near.
Thank you.
It's not perfect, but it is not by any standards a bad film. Like, not even Roger Ebert was like, yes, fine. Like, yeah. It's fine. Like, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And it's more than fine if you are... Oh, God. Okay, so this movie opens with Gina Davis putting her clothes back on, having just shagged some British lieutenant. We then find out for, like, information.
Yeah.
He tries to hand her in. She's stolen the bullets from his gun because she knew that he knew who she was. And her line to him before the credits roll is, I took your balls. And then she summons this adorable monkey onto her shoulder and leaves. And that is so important to me, because I don't think I have ever, especially as a child in the 90s, never, ever, ever seen anything where the woman had so much control, liberation, that she was framed where the man should be.
Yeah.
She is the main character, and there is very little, oh, I'm so surprised that this is happening because you have a vagina. Oh, I'm confused because you're a woman. Oh, this is very exceptional work considering you're a girl. There's none of that. Like, that I clocked, there's very little of people being like, a girl, it's a girl. It's
oh my God.
Here she is. She's the captain of the fucking ship. Fucking deal with it. And they treat her like a pirate. They treat her as a threat to their safety. They don't treat her like a woman who is subverting roles and stereotypes and sensibilities of the time. Even the guy that, like, comes into the narrative, who's sort of outside of that world, isn't like, oh my God, this is so insane, this is crazy. He just deals with it. Everyone just deals with it. And that was so refreshing. And it was so I nearly cried. I nearly cried in the first 5 minutes of this movie just because I'd seen a woman in an opening scene where for years I'd just seen Sean Connery, Dennis Quaid, Tom Cruise, Hugh Jackman, like men have that shot, the way the camera looks at them, the way that they're putting their trousers on in the opening, the way that they leave the person behind. It's always been men in that place, and she was in that place. And then she rides a fucking horse, and then she boots someone in the face, and she single-handedly rows a fucking boat out to a ship. And I was just like, oh, I'm very emotional.
Yes. It's that bit where they're like, okay, cool, like, we're gonna give you a shot. You think you can go and get us a load of treasure? We're gonna give you a shot. And she takes her dagger, throws it into the mast of the ship, and she's like, any man here who thinks that you want to take over, pull that out and come and get me. And they're all like, oh, no, we are not that crazy. No. It's just kind of an accepted fact that she's a pirate. She's gonna kick your ass if you come after her. And she's not just this fragile flower. It's like, I was watching it just going, heck yes, 1995. We definitely needed this. I'm pretty sure that's why my mum loves this film so much. And the fact that it just showed that, you know, women can. I think the way that my mum pointed it out to me was, you know, if you ever doubt yourself or think you can't do something, come and watch this movie and look at everything that both Gina Davis and her character do. Because if you watch those stunts, some of which are insane, where she jumps out a window, rolls down a roof and lands in a carriage, that's Gina Davis.
Yeah, a moving
doing
carriage.
that. Yes. And like, even Dave went, bloody hell, that's a great stunt. I was like, yeah, but look at it. It's actually her. And my mum was like, yeah like, absolutely. She did that. You can do anything. Come back and watch this movie. And like, yeah, she uses her sexuality to get herself places because she knows what she's got. She's comfortable with it. And she absolutely doesn't mind having to get down and dirty with the boys, having to flirt her way through a, you know, minefield, and then kicking somebody's ass and chucking him in the ocean. It's like, damn, if ever there was a woman who could, it was Morgan Adams. Like, yes. Yeah.
Yes. And like, I was really worried as well because very early on they're like, oh, the big pirate Black Henry, it's his daughter. Like and I was like, oh no, is she going to be like referred to as his daughter the whole time? Nope, not a thing. He's only in this movie to like make you care about her journey and the fact that it's her whole family, which is really cool. So it's her dad dies at the very beginning of the movie, and she's already a perfectly established pirate queen, which again was so good because they so easily could have made it where she had to step up to the mark and she wasn't quite ready and a man would have had to have trained her. Nope, she's capable, she's on it, she's been in this world for all of her life. And it's her uncle that kills her dad, and then her other uncle. All three of them have a section of the map that leads to Cutthroat Island, and it's just a really great idea, a really great premise to keep it like as this sort of family of pirates, and it's really fun. It's long, and it did get to a point where I was like, how is there 40 minutes left of this movie? Is this not the end? But it's fun. It is really, really fun. It's a great Sunday afternoon movie just to have in the background. And it's silly and it's cringy, but I think especially if I was a teenager, I'd have been like, oh my God, this is the hottest movie ever. Like, it's just so cool. So it's so much fun, and it definitely walked so Pirates of the Caribbean could run. Every beat of this movie mirrors what then Pirates of the Caribbean is. The only difference is that they put a twist on the genre.
Yeah, like I did a list of everything that's in this movie that then ended up in Pirates. And Dave was like, I think you're reaching. I don't think that's oh, they're in Port Royal. She's carrying a monkey. There's somebody in jail and they need to break him out in order to progress the story. And the music sounds like Pirates. And oh, okay. And the ending, they're sinking. He's stuck under Like, he's stuck in the galley, it's flooding with water, then the ship explodes, and then the guy that was on the side of the King's Navy is now a pirate. Oh my god. So yeah, I made a list of everything. Like, they've even got their own Tortuga, and like, yeah, it's different. And yes, it's flawed, of course it is. It's not a perfect movie, but it's a really important movie, not just for like when it came out, but even now it's like, damn. Like, if you watch Pirates of the Caribbean, I'm sat there the entire time just going, bloody hell, Elizabeth, shut up. Like, no, pull your skirts up and go and kick some ass. Stop moaning and go and prove to everyone that you're capable. And then you've got Morgan Adams just being like, yeah, no, I haven't got time to cry about this. I've got shit to do. I was like...
Yeah, I think I wrote, it takes Elizabeth Swann 3 movies to do what Morgan Adams is already doing in the opening credits. And that's not anything against Elizabeth Swann, but considering both of them are... really, like, sorry Zoe's, but really the only women in their movies. I know which one I'd look up to more and want to emulate.
I know which one I've dressed up to at a pirate-themed evening. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So... it's funny, you almost have to compare them because this movie is so often cited as the death of the genre until Pirates of the Caribbean resurrected it, and the two sort of go hand in hand, unfortunately, even though they're only like 6 years apart, or 95 to 2003. That's not long. That's not a long time.
No.
It's not like it died for 50 years and then finally a Disney ride was like, we resurrected it. It was like 6 years or something. Like, it's insane. But Morgan Adams is just not like any character I've ever come across before in the way that she's shot, framed, spoken about, talked to. I guess Ripley from Alien is the only equivalent, who famously was written as a man and then just cast as a woman. But Morgan Adams still feels like she was always written to be a woman, and not because they make reference to her like womb or anything, just because they wanted this to be a vehicle for Gina Davis to make her into an action star, and she is a bloody action star in this movie. She's a fucking star, and she does so much action. And of course, I mean, fuck me, I read in the IMDb trivia that what we were meant to get was a pirate movie with Gina Davis and Michelle Pfeiffer playing 2 female pirates as the leads. And they didn't let us have it because they didn't think female-led action movies would sell. And maybe they were right in the climate at the time, but give me my Gina Davis and Michelle Pfeiffer pirate movie!
Please! For the love of God. We need it now. Like,
I want an all-female pirate movie.
Yes.
I want Gina Davis back in a cameo role as like a pirate queen on a forgotten island. I want Michelle Pfeiffer in there. I want Keira Knightley in there as also some like pirate queen on a different island as like sort of homage cameos to their old pirate captain roles in cinema. I want an entirely fresh cast. Obviously, you'd have Margot Robbie in there, but I'd also want fucking... oh, God, I want an all-female pirate movie. I want it. I want it now. I want it right now. Please. Thank you.
We should totally go make that. I've decided that's the first movie I'm ever going to write is going to be that. Yeah. Like, we were talking about it last night, about movies around the time that had female leads. And the one we mentioned was Alien. And then Dave and I were talking about it, and I was like... but you don't really realise Ripley's the lead because, yeah, she's the voice of reason, but there are so many other characters. She's just the last woman standing. It's not until the second one that it's a Ripley-led movie. And then there were a couple of others that we mentioned, and we were like, yeah, but again, it's not a woman-led movie. It's a movie with a woman in it that might happen to be the last woman standing. Piece. Yeah, or happen to inspire a whole genre like Alien, or, you know, these creature features. But this one started out, this is her movie. It's not anybody else's. Like, I was reading some of the trivia. I think it was... I've got a list of everyone they were going to cast as the Matt Modine character. Originally, they wanted Michael Douglas, but he came in and just went, I'll do it on 2 conditions. 1, we start right away because I'm really busy. And 2, you have to give me the exact same amount of screen time as Gina Davis or I'm not doing it. And it was her husband directing it and he went, well, no, then. Like, no.
Bye.
Yeah, they went through on...
Bye, Michael.
Yeah, bye. Have you heard all of the characters they went through for that role? Like, all of the actors?
Oh, God, yeah. They basically went through Hollywood. It's like Tom Cruise, Russell Crowe, blah, 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 blah. And all these men were clearly like, sorry, what? You want me to play second-hander to a female lead in an action movie? I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know if that's the reason that all of these men turned this project down. And we know that, you know, lots of people turned The Matrix down as well. And it wasn't necessarily because it had a female lead. We never know the reasons why these A-listers turn these projects down. They must get a million scripts through the door at once, but you cannot help but feel, considering Michael Douglas's excuse, that a few of them might have also worried about their career or how they were perceived by audiences, and that if they were to take this role, if that would impact their career in any way. You don't know, but that's a common thought that a lot of actors have when they choose their projects, which is a real shame. And it goes back to this whole female-led movies don't make money. And so the fact that Cutthroat Island got made at all, and it was really disheartening to read that Gina Davis lost faith in the project halfway through and really wanted to quit as well. Well, you really want to read the story where, like, Gina Davis was like, this was her passion project. And she was on board the whole time and she really thought she was breaking the glass ceiling. She was like, no, this sucks. I want out. You're like, oh, Gina.
Babe, no. Yeah.
It's so good, though, Gina. Like, you're so good. And, like, you can kind of tell that her heart's not 100% in it, but it doesn't matter because what she represents through it is so much bigger than the fact that the movie was a flop and the fact that the dialogue's a little clunky in places and the fact that the plot doesn't really make sense. And, like, it goes beyond all of these trivial things, and it should... I mean, I don't know, I haven't looked into it, but I imagine it must come up in conversation when we talk about female-led movies, especially female-led genre movies. Not horror, because, again, Alien can be classed as a horror.
Yeah.
Very often in horror, the lead is a woman, for whatever reason. That's become a thing. And also, talking about Alien, that was the 70s. This is 1995. That was the 70s.
Yeah.
I can't think of many genre movies that aren't romance or chick flicks that are led entirely by women. And it's true, this side male character really is just that. He's given the role of what the women usually would be given. And it's not a small part, it's not a boring part, you know, but it is the second one down. It is the supporting character. And again, it was so refreshing to see that. And it, you know, it wasn't the controversial decision of putting Chris Hemsworth as the secretary in Ghostbusters. That was too far. It was just that his character didn't do the cool things. He didn't rescue anyone. He didn't kill anyone. He was just there. He was her romantic lead, and he brought a couple of things to the plot. And that was that. That was his character. That was him.
Yeah. What it reminded me of is the Fifth Pirates, when you've got that woman who's meant to be Barbossa's daughter, spoiler alert, and she's like... She's not a warrior, but she's the smart one, and she brings brains to stuff, and she works out that stars mean this, and this is the map. And he's not a warrior. He's the smart one, and he comes along and realizes that all of these numbers are latitude and longitude. This sentence is actually numbers, and he works out where the island is, and that is basically his job. That and to, you know, look like a Carrie Elwes giveaway.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so much. But that's his job. He doesn't then suddenly rescue Morgan. She rescues him. She rescues her entire crew single-handedly. And then, she breaks somebody's neck, stabs someone else, and she's like, what are you all sitting down for? Let's fucking go. And then retakes her ship and is like, right, everybody that mutinied, get out.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, whilst also being like a genuinely good person. Like, yes, she's a pirate, but she's fair and disciplined, but she's not wishy-washy just because she's a girl. And yeah, it's that moment where she kicks ass, takes back her own ship, and then there's the Pirates of the Caribbean bit at the end where the two ships are fighting, and yeah, she swings across, and yeah, they're all like going ship to ship, and everything's about to explode. And my favourite part of this entire movie is when she reveals this cannon, looks at her Uncle Dog and goes, "Bad dog," and blows him away. It's
my God.
Yes.
That bit was so good. He'd like beaten her up, and he was like, "Join me or die," and she was like, "Death first," and she like crashes through their ship. She picks up this like stick that's on fire, you know the kind. And he's like, "Oh, are you going to fight me with that stick?" And she's like, "No, I'm going to fight you with this." And like rips the sheet of a cannon. And then his death rivals, finally someone to rival darling Denethor of Gondor. With the cannonball shoots him in the chest.
Oh my God.
Flies him through about 3 walls of the boat and then out into the ocean. And it was glorious.
Yes. So cheesy. And like, literally he'd said it and I turned to look at Dave's face and he was just there like, dumbfounded. And then he started laughing. And he was like, did she actually just say "bad dog" as she blew him out the back of a ship? I was like, yeah, she did. And he was like, I'm not even mad at that. I'm not even mad at that. Like, okay, love. Like, it's one of the cheesiest, craziest, fun times you can possibly have. It's like that bit at the beginning when they're riding in the carriage and there's this funeral procession with this mouldy pope of some kind, and they go charging through, the body goes everywhere. Next thing you know, there's a decapitated head rolling down the street. And
the skull like smashes on the floor in front of the camera, and it's this like skull of this old like archbishop, and you're like,
it was then I just, when I first saw that, I was like, right, okay, you're not here to play. You're like, yeah, every single ridiculous, fun, silly, oh, I see what's coming kind of moment is in this movie. And it literally doesn't stop. Like, it is a long movie, and there were probably a few bits they could have trimmed down to make it a little bit snappier. But there is a laugh a minute, a really like enjoyable time throughout it. Though, I mean, what their hatred with dead bodies is, I don't know, because later they blow up a load of coffins and more bodies go flying. So like, I think that was
good.
Yeah, it's about 2 minutes before you see Matthew Modine accidentally get hit on the head by a barrel. There's like this like, big explosion and they're all running in slow motion, and then he gets hit in the head by a barrel, and you can just see the look on his face of, I don't think that was meant to happen.
Yeah, this is painful.
Yeah, so they didn't reshoot any of that. They were just like, yes, that character now has a concussion. Yes, we're rolling with it.
That's canon now.
Yes, just like the canon at the end of the movie. Yeah,
it is. It's a lot of fun, and I think it's a very, very good movie. And I think within it, with a couple of moving some stuff around, trimming some stuff down, there's an excellent movie in there somewhere. They just needed to define things a little bit more, make me care more about a couple more people. Take away some of the like flourishy characters, like Pirates of the Caribbean do it well, where I know, maybe it's because I've seen like 3+ movies with these characters, but like, I know who Gibbs is, I know who Cotton is, like, I know the crew and I know their place, and I know, do you know what I mean? Whereas with her crew, I was a bit like, and I have only seen it once, and I did stop watching it half an hour ago, but I'm still a bit like, okay, so you got him and him, like, and it's historically accurate to have like so many people, but for a film I am like, right, so there's Trotter, who's that horrible man from Flowers, and then there's the like Commodore he's more like the Tom Hollander character than the Norrington character, because Norrington is a good guy.
I love him.
This man is not a good guy. Love, not even R.I.P. because, like, Norrington is not dead.
Oh,
in
yeah,
my
he
head
survived. Yeah, he did.
because
He made it.
That was dumb.
Yeah.
That was dumb, and I hated it. The treasure didn't really, like, they just sort of found it.
Yeah.
And then, like, some other stuff happened. I was like, oh, okay.
Yep, they just
Right.
like I'm honestly wondering how they managed to get all of that treasure out of that cave up a single rope.
Right?
I'll be honest about that. I was like, some of this isn't going to attach to a rope, people, and you don't have any
Yeah.
boxes, and what? And then suddenly they finished, and I'm like, well, hang on a minute. How long was Shaw unconscious on that beach for? 3 days? Interesting.
Yeah, literally.
Okay. Like,
There's so much, like, random betrayal as well. And I
Yes.
know, I get it, pirates, but by the end there, I was just annoyed. I was like, you have only betrayed us because the plot told you to.
Yeah.
Like, there was no reason for you to do this. You just needed the British Army to come back into the fucking story. So, fuck you.
No. Yeah, it was that John Reed character, like the author, was. I'm honestly not sure he was necessary.
No.
Like, he added a bit of a flourish, I suppose, but there were so many other ways that were less convoluted and would take a lot less screen time to get the British Army, the Navy, sorry, where they needed to be. And they seemed to expect us to believe that a single pigeon during a massive storm was gonna be able to find its way. I was like, that's not even a homing pigeon, that's just a freaking pigeon. No. So there are some characters and some bits that could have been trimmed down, and I mean, I can't, other than Glasspool, who is one of her psychics, and Francis from Malcolm in the Middle. Yeah, and the guy with the spots. Like,
you mean the guy from Dragonheart 2: A New Beginning?
yes, I do. That is exactly what I meant. Yeah.
That was his superior role.
Of course. How dare I? Yeah, other than them, and I can't even really remember all of their names. Like, there's the guy that betrays her for no other reason than he
Blair was
Blair.
like, his name's like Scabby
Blaine?
or something, like Scummy,
Scrapper
something like that.
or Scooby.
Scraggy, something like that.
Yeah, something piratey. Yeah, something
The
quintessentially.
Tattoo Man.
Yes, Tattoo Man. He was like Blaine or Blake or something.
Yeah, like Blair or Blaine.
Blair, that was it, I think. But yeah, they're not really well-rounded characters. Whereas if you took a couple of them out and changed a bit of the story, you'd have well-rounded characters with little arcs. And actually, I think it probably would have been even better.
Yeah, and this is the thing. We're not saying that the movie is bad. Like, I'm not taking that stand. I refuse to, because it's not. It's just, like a lot of movies, it's also really fun for me to watch it and be like, ooh, if they'd have just done this and if they'd just done that. And you used the word convoluted earlier, and I think that sums it up. There's a lot of things that happen in this movie that you're like, oh boy, like... You could have cut that down a lot. You could have found a much easier way. You could have started somewhere else. Like, I wanted more about Cutthroat Island. I wanted almost a little prologue of, and it's fucking, and I'm glad they didn't do it. And I hate this, and this is why I'm not a screenwriter for movies. And I'm glad they didn't do it, but they did need almost, and again, I'm almost stealing it from Pirates of the Caribbean, her as a child with her dad, and he's like, Cutthroat Island is a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
And it's the title of this movie, and you need to care about it, and the audience needs to care about it. But when we finally got to, she like turns, someone's like, Captain, look! And she turns around and she goes, it's Cutthroat Island. And I was like, I've forgotten. Why do we want to get to Cutthroat Island?
Why?
It's like the title of the movie.
Yeah, like why are the three brothers finally only now deciding they're going to murder each other and take the treasure? Like, why do you all have three parts of a map, and why do you have to scalp a man? And
why is his part of the map carved into a piece of ore?
Yeah.
And your part of the map is on the inside of your scalp. Like,
what are you on about, mate? Yeah.
Why was that? the best. You were bald at the time, and you were like, tattoo it on my head.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I'm drunk.
And
Woo.
it was a nice, but then saying that, it was really fun. And I just think there could have been a better way to reveal and describe these things to us, because I think that's really cute how they all have different dogs. Part of the map needed to be much more interesting. His was like a rag on a necklace. Bullshit. Like, if his is that he has to be scalped, and his is like a piece of headboard from a bed or whatever it was, yours needs to be something like equally kind of like gruesome and cool. Like, I don't know, like your finger is kept on a necklace around your neck, and it's like rolled up into your finger in like,
that would have been great.
Like a song. Or, I don't know, like it just like, I don't know, just
tattooed
like
on his chest.
with it. Just go a bit more out there. Because again, it was way too easy to steal. Like, it felt like they were having so much fun doing all these little action sequences, and then someone would be like, oh shit, we need to progress the plot. So they'd be like, I guess Shaw breaks into the shed that he's sleeping in, and he steals his necklace, and it's fine.
Yep.
And then we can continue with the plot. And they're like, brilliant. And you're like, wait, what? Like, this man is meant to be like terrifying and impossible to beat, and you've just snuck in, stolen his necklace, snuck out again, and now we can further the plot. Although saying that, in that scene, once he's stolen the necklace, what does finally waken Dog from his slumber is a little tarantula crawling across his chest, which he grabs, and as he goes outside to vent his frustration about being stolen from, he crushes this spider in his hand, and the blood like drips, like streams onto the floor. And then he opens his hand to show us the crushed tarantula, and it falls to the floor. And I was so here for it. I wanted more. I wanted him to start like picking up snakes and biting their heads off. I don't know. It's just like, be evil.
Well, it's the bit earlier when they're in like their version of Tortuga, where he just grabs an eel and he's like, "Hey, I've got this eel and it's got teeth, and I'm gonna threaten you with this eel."
Yeah,
and it's like,
he threatens it with an eel.
Yes.
It's so dumb, but it works so well.
It's like, okay, so your brand of evil is either using creepy animals to threaten people or crushing creepy animals. Cool. Yeah. Now I know you're evil. That is good.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
you.
Exactly. It's like the equivalent of kicking a puppy. It was so good. And like, obviously he's like threatening her with this eel, and she's like, "It's as ugly as you." And he's like, "Ha ha ha, I've got an eel and I'm not afraid to use it." And I was like, this movie is great. This movie is so good.
It is honestly so much fun. Like, I mean, my mum and I watched it probably about, it must be 6 months ago now, and like we got a takeaway and we got a bottle of wine, and we were like, we're gonna like totally relive a really important part of my childhood. And we were halfway through it, and I was like, why does everybody say this is a bad movie? It's not a bad movie. Like, I know it lost a load, but that was a load of production like issues and bullshit. But it's not a bad movie. It's way better than the 5th Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh my god,
like, way better than a load of other movies. And it is important, and it's totally a film that I'm going to show my daughter. And if I have a boy, I'm going to be like, right, you watch up women's empowerment. It's like, I've got so much to thank my parents for. My dad is the one that showed me Practical Magic. My mum was the one was like, right, sit down. Gina Davis is going to like
Gina
rock
Davis time.
your world. Yeah, I still can't get over every time I look at the Pirate Queen, Morgan. I'm like, hey, look, it's my mum in the 90s. Literally. Like, you can
so cool.
see my hair. I've got the blonde version of Gina Davis hair. Yeah.
Oh my god. I like it. Yeah, it's just get a group of you together. Get so like wine drunk.
Yes.
Like, get so drunk and just enjoy it for what it is. Like, It's nothing. It does, Roger Ebert in his review was like, it doesn't stretch the genre. It doesn't do anything new with the genre. And I'm like, most movies don't.
No.
That's why we have genres, because people tend to just stick within them. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, it's not what it is, because it's got a woman in a role that is always for a man, and it is done in a way where no attention is made for the fact that she's a woman.
Yeah.
No attention is on the fact that she's a woman.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the plot that she's a woman.
Yeah.
She just does what she's gonna do.
Even the guy that betrays her doesn't betray her because he doesn't want to follow a woman. He betrays her because either he wants to be in charge or they're sailing through this storm and he's a coward. He's not like, you're a woman? I ain't following no girl. Like, get out. There's none of that. It's not like that sudden fear of boobs. That doesn't happen, which is amazing, and I'm totally here for it. The thing I think, like, in that original review, like, I'm a huge Lady Gaga fan, and I hated her recent album, and Dave just turned to me and he went, one thing you need to remember is that you can't expect somebody to rewrite the wheel every single time they release something. And I think that this is the case with this movie. No, it doesn't expand the genre, but it has something to say that is really important. And it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it is a movie that shows you a heroine that you can totally get behind for one little girl, and that is all it bloody well needed to do. It didn't need to suddenly like rewrite the pirate genre. I mean, it technically did, but it didn't need to. It did what it needed to do, and yeah, it could get improved, but absolutely I'm gonna go grab a bottle of wine and have an absolute hoot watching this movie. It's so funny, so ridiculous, and so like, oh my god, I cannot believe that just happened. It's like,
it's crazy. And like, this is the thing, and I don't want to get into it again, but like, male reviewers being like, I didn't like it, and it's like, oh, why didn't you? Because it was a bad movie. Was it though? Because I know lots of people who really enjoyed it. They also happen to have not been men.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to say that, like, you hate this movie because you're not a woman. But, like, because gender is a social construct anyway. But it just, I've not seen anything like it. I've not seen a woman in this role before in my life. I've not seen. She was like Chris Pratt at the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy. She was like James Bond. She was like every male action hero, and I've not seen one since.
No.
Like this, and it's so important, and you can't help that at the time people being like, this is going to be a flop because female-led movies don't make money, and then it's, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy where then everything gets turned to shit. And I don't know, I'm finding it really hard to articulate because I'm just so mad, but like,
I know exactly what you mean though. Like, it's almost like you can't express what it means to be a 10-year-old girl who thinks their entire life is going to be what men or what somebody else tells you can do. And then you see this woman acting in ways that you pretty much think Captain Kirk is the only person that acts in these ways. And that is the only character I can think of that does that. Like, yes, of course, sex happens in movies, but how many times do you see a woman being the one running out just being like, it was nice, thanks for the shag, and then jumping on a horse to go to her pirate ship? Like,
yes.
I can't think of any other movies that are so like female empowering, just to know that you don't have to conform to what you think you have to, because every other movie has basically told you what you're supposed to do as a woman. Like,
exactly. And it's the fact that there's no journey to this point. There's no build up to this point, she opens the movie as a badass pirate person, and she closes the movie as a badass pirate person. She doesn't retire to the field, because also, lest we forget, Miss Swan, the second she became king of the fucking pirates, or whatever she becomes, she's then like, I'm gonna go ashore and have a baby now, mate, which again is totally fine, but how many movies have we seen where the women have retired to go and have a baby? Whereas this one, she's like, I'll see you in my fucking cabin, we'll have a shag, and then we'll go to Madagascar and get more treasure. And you're like, I can breathe watching this movie.
Yes.
I was like, oh my god, she's just existing already as a strong, capable pirate. She remains as such. She will continue to be, and that's, her gender is never called into question. Her gender is never becoming part of the plot. It's just, she's just a person in a movie.
Yes.
Doing stuff. Like, I cannot stress enough. Like, I really want to know, if anyone's listening, like, how you feel. Like, go away and watch it, and how does it make you feel? Or even just listening to what we're describing, can you think of another example?
Honestly, yeah. Like,
she's just, there's no question about it. She doesn't have to, because Elizabeth Swann has adventure in her, but she has to first get stuff happens to her, and then she has to grow into a fighter. Morgan Adams is a fighter from day one. She stays a fighter. She will continue to be a fighter. And there's nothing like it. I was like, oh my God.
I would honestly love if somebody could turn around and be like, actually, there's this. And I'll be like, fuck, I need to watch this.
Brilliant.
Absolutely, I need to watch this. And it's almost like this ridiculous, fun romp of a movie has no right to make me, like, question gender roles and be like, hell yes, I can do anything I want to. And it was a flop of a movie that lost like $88 million or something ridiculous.
Bankrupt the studio.
Yeah, bankrupted the studio is honestly one of the most ridiculous things you will ever witness, and is also one of the greatest and most important movies I can think of, because honestly, I cannot think of another movie where a woman is just living and being this pirate queen without ever anybody saying it's bad luck to have a woman on board. Nobody says that.
Fuck.
Nobody says that. Yeah.
Nobody says that once in this movie.
Nobody even suggests it. She's a woman on a pirate ship who happens to be their captain because she fucking earned it. Not just because her dad left her the ship. She earned it. And they all know she's tough enough to have this ship. And it's like, well, yeah. So what if I'm a woman?
There's never, no one like falls in love with her because she's so pretty. No one like, none of the British officers are like, oh, sir, a female pirate, surely this will be easy. There's none of that. And I know I keep stressing that and saying that over and over again. But I think I just waited with bated breath the whole time.
Yeah.
For that to happen, for this bullshit that I'm so used to hearing to appear, for me to get mad at, and it never came. It never appeared. And I finished the movie and I was like, Gina Davis is queen of my heart.
Yes. Yes, she is. It's that moment, and this sounds like the most ridiculous thing to be like, yeah, at, but it's when they're fighting on the top of the carriage and the man from the King's Navy punches her in the face. No question, no qualms, just punches her right in the face because she's kicking his ass. And I'm like, yes, absolutely.
I really noticed that as well. Every time she gets like hit, like properly hit, I was like, this is so good. She's just being treated like an equal in a fight. No one's there going, is it okay to hit a woman? Oh, or like punches her and then is like, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. Because like, I feel like even in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, that would have happened. Like Elizabeth Swann never gets punched in the face.
No. And
it's not the tone of the movie for her to have been punched in the face. But you know, in those movies, the women do a lot of slapping. They slap all the men that were unjust to them, and that's the vengeance that they get. The vengeance that Morgan Adams get is that she shoots a fucking cannonball into the man that killed her dad.
Absolutely. Like, absolutely. It's that bit where she's got a blade between her teeth and her arm wrapped around this anchor, and she's rising up onto the ship, and you're like, damn, that's a ship full of people that are going to want to kill you. Like, you're one person. You're just one person. And then she snaps her neck, stabs a bloke, and she's like, right, who's fucking with me? And it's one of those, no qualms, no question. She's doing what she needs to do. She's not squeamish. She's not going, oh, God, I don't know if I can do this. She's just there. She's just existing, and I love her.
She never questions her own ability. She never is like, if anything, you could argue that she's, you'd say robotic, but only because this is the inner misogyny in me, that we're so used to women being emotional in this way. And if it was a man, you wouldn't question that he didn't just immediately get over the death of his father, who then he immediately had to scalp to get the treasure map for the plot to start. She just does it. She deals with it. She deals with the death of her father. She scalps him. She's just like, anyway, here's the scalp of my father. It's got a treasure map on it. Let's fucking go. And I love that as well, that she is just like, well, it's in Latin, I can't read it, so let's go find someone who speaks Latin, I guess. And then, like, that's a really fun sequence where she's like bidding for the slave, and like, it's really fun.
Yeah,
it's just such, get wine drunk, watch it, and feel so empowered just from everything about her. And like, we've almost had to wait until Birds of Prey to get a similar thing. And even then, Harley Quinn is nothing like Morgan Adams. They're very different. Still both very, very good characters, but very, very different as well. And I just want a fucking all-female pirate movie. I'm going to write it, and then I'm going to be like, dear Nicole Kidman, I would like to cast you in my all-female pirate movie. Dear Judi Dench, I would like to cast you in my all-female pirate movie. Dear Gina Davis, please come out of retirement for my all-female pirate movie.
And here is Hannah, who's playing your daughter because you look like her mum. There we go. See, sorted. Yeah. I am the pirate princess officially. Yeah.
Yes.
I would so totally live for that. Yeah.
It would just be so much fun. It would just be so good. And see if we can bring it back to its root, bring the genre back to its roots. Lindsay Ellis does a brilliant expose video of, it's called Dead Genres Tell No Tales, and she goes into the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise and how, in order to resurrect the pirate genre successfully, they did have to sort of mix it with essentially the horror genre and turn them into like walking zombies.
Yeah.
And ghost skeletons, and it worked in their favour. But there's still no denying that Pirates of the Caribbean is a pirates movie. It's full of the little tropey tropes. It's full of fucking Cutthroat Island.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. I don't think people have anything wrong with the pirate genre. I think it's really fun, and I think it mixes fantasy and history in a way that people loved until Game of Thrones fucked it. And I think there's an argument to be made for not a Cutthroat Island remake, but I don't know, like what am I going to call my island? Compass Island? I don't know now. Something else will come up with.
Skull Island. Yeah. Shinbone Island. There you go.
But it's great. I mean, one of the greatest pirate movies ever made, we've already discussed on this podcast. It's Muppet Treasure Island.
Oh,
like, it's so much fun. And
yes.
Again, very few women in that thing. And obviously there's no women in, like, this movie does not pass the Bechdel test. Like, don't get us wrong, it's still 1995.
Oh yeah.
To compensate for having such a good woman in it, it was on the understanding that not a single other woman appears in this movie except one who is homophobic.
Yeah.
No, there's two. There's the pathetic one to introduce William Shaw's character, who gets robbed from,
yes,
and is ugly, and that's her character. She's ugly, and she's stolen from. And then there's the prostitute in their Tortuga that Gina Davis walks up to and looks her up and down and says, "How much?" implying her outfit, but she thinks she's implying that she wants to have sex with her. And this prostitute is like, I beg your pardon?
Hey.
It's like, oh no, the thought of a lesbian.
Yeah. I mean,
not here in the 1600s when Mary Read and Anne Bonny, like the two pirate lesbian queens, were like rampant.
Yeah, this film would have to have two women having a conversation for the bestial test to even be like considered. But the closest thing is how much for your outfit. That's literally it. No other women like interact.
3 words and a 1-word answer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if that prostitute character has a name, then it does pass the Bechdel test.
Yes, they weren't talking about a man. That's actually very true. That is actually very true.
I don't think whore 1 counts as a thing. And yeah, like, you know, no one ever really propositions Gina Davis for sex throughout this movie. No one really treats her like an object. And man, it was just so fucking emotional to watch this character on screen. Like, for all your Michelle Rodriguez in your various side characters, this truly was just amazing. It's just amazing.
I feel like now is like my job to bring you female empowering movies.
Like, I cried at Practical Magic. I cried at Cutthroat Island. What's your hat trick gonna be?
I honestly don't know.
To see what like female empowerment movie you bring to this podcast next season. When you're like, I have another one. I'll be like, oh, I've never seen it, and then I'll be like, I'm so empowered.
How have I never seen this? You've changed my life.
You've changed my entire life. I can tell you for a fact, if I had seen this movie when I was 14, Gina Davis as Morgan Adams would have been my profile picture for all of my social media accounts.
Oh, yeah.
My AOL IM, Daphne Blake would have been replaced by Morgan Adams. All of my Pro Boards accounts would have had Morgan Adams as instead of Hermione Granger, like, for a fact.
Yeah.
She would have been all over my socials.
Back
in 2001.
I remember there was like this big pirate party at the pub I worked at, and I basically had a Gina Davis outfit, and I was a brunette at the time, and I rocked up thinking this was the coolest outfit ever, and they were just like, so who are you? I was like, what do you fucking mean? Who am I? I'm Morgan Adams. And the amount of people that were like, I don't get it. Cutthroat Island. And they were like, oh, what? You mean that like really awful movie? Have you seen it? No. Well then.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly. And I think it's such a shame that it's gone down in history as a bad movie, as opposed to a brilliantly empowered character on screen that's been very important for I mean, nothing fucking came of it. Like, don't get us wrong. Like, Morgan Adams didn't change the face of cinema. And even if her movie had been a success, I still don't think she would have paved the way for female-led action movies or even just genre movies that aren't horror. Like, I don't think that would have happened quickly, but still. But I do think that it's a shame that because the movie was such a flop and it shut down the studio that also brought us Showgirls, which is a bad movie. Like,
yes.
That is a bad movie.
Such a bad movie.
Yeah, so I think it's a shame that her character's sort of been pushed under the carpet because of it. I had no idea she existed. I had no idea at all. And she definitely walked so Elizabeth Swann could.
Absolutely. God, yes.
Like, jog, I guess. She doesn't really run, does she? she builds up to running and then immediately stops running. But yeah. Oh my God, thank you so much.
You are more than welcome. Like, I think I was...
this into my life.
I was like a bottle of wine down when I messaged you, and I was like, oh my God, Cutthroat Island! Like, we have to do it. And you were like, I've never heard of this. Yeah, and I literally just watched it with my mum, and I was like, you have to watch it. We have to do it. Like, it's pirates, and it's a woman, and it's like... oh my God, we have to do it. And I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
Find the original message, because you were like, it was like, I'm exaggerating, like, let's say it was like 2 a.m.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Yes, here it is. It was just like, babe, just rewatch Cutthroat Island again, and I want to go to court and argue its case till I die. Have you ever done it as an episode / would you need to get it out in the world? That was what I sent you. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how excited I was.
And I was like, what is Cutthroat Island?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, that was oh, okay, it wasn't that bad. It was 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so it must have been the day after. I wasn't that wine drunk then, apparently. I was just enthusiastic. Yeah.
Rightly so. And then you were like, it's Gina Davis. It's pirates. I was like, stop right there. I'm in.
Yes. I've looked at her outfit and I'm there. I'm sold. Let's do this.
I'm in.
Yeah. All you really need is Gina Davis looking like a pirate queen and you're in, surely.
Her outfits are incredible. Yeah. Every single one. The one when there's like, it's the storm and she's in that like big navy jacket.
That coat.
And she's like raising her sword and I'm just like, yes, Gina.
Like, totally paving the way. Look at that jacket.
Good.
I love you. Yeah.
So good.
She's amazing. Even when she's dressed in a dress and kicking butt, I'm like, heck yes.
I love that, like, she rips her skirt off and is just, like, in her bloomers.
Yeah.
As well. But, like, the top half is, like, she's just practical. It just feels, even though it's completely insane, it's grounded in a reality. More so than Pirates of the Caribbean is, with Elizabeth Swann dressing as, like, a boy. And then when she puts her dress on, suddenly her boobs grow 3 times more than they were when the CGI boobs in Pirates of the Caribbean. But no CGI boobs here.
Nope. That is just full-blown Gina Davis. Yeah, wearing a corset and bloomers, covered in knives and swords, kicking the butt off of a Navy man, who then decks her in the face because he realises how fucking dangerous this woman is. And then she, like, I think, hits him with a building. I'm pretty sure that's what happens. Yeah.
Almost definitely. That sounds like something she would do, to be fair.
It's,
But yeah, that's all of my notes. Do you have any more?
Let me have a look, because I wrote so many notes last night. Most of them were just me trying to prove to Dave that, like, it's totally Pirates of the Caribbean before Pirates of the Caribbean was cool.
It is.
The only other thing I wrote was, like, they totally should have cast Carrie Elwes. But, you know, whatever.
They should have done. I agree. They got a poor man's version instead.
He did.
No offense, dude, who I have no idea who you are.
Matthew Modine. I know the name, and I'm sure he's done other stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, and I even Googled him, and I was like, and they were like, you may know him from this, and I was like, no.
I do have a fun fact. Apparently Oliver Reed was going to play Mordecai, the other brother, until he actually did something very Mordecai-ish. He got into a bar brawl and then tried to expose himself to Gina Davis whilst he was wasted. And then they were like, yeah, no, we're not doing like actual pirates. So off you go. Yeah. And then you end up being that really random guy. And then
no space for alcoholics here, Mr. Reed. Goodbye.
And then I've literally got a note that just says, Gina Davis reminds me of my mum.
Aww. You're going to have to send me a picture of your mum from the 90s if she gives her consent.
Oh my
gosh. I can like put her side by side with Gina Davis.
Yes. And then lastly is just the bit of Latin that Shaw speaks to prove he speaks Latin is just, you're a very beautiful woman. I'd like to wash your feet. That's, yeah.
That was really weird.
It's like, oh, you're a handsome man, but I don't know if I'm into that.
Touch my feet. Nobody touches my feet.
Yeah,
I barely touch my feet. Weird.
Yeah,
Tickle.
it sounds really like beautiful and romantic, and he's like, "Let me wash your feet." And so, okay, damn.
I think and you can see in Gina Davis's face as well. She's like, "Oh, all right, wait, what?"
He speaks Latin. We'll take him.
Yeah, say something Latin-y. Or Latinish is what she tells him.
Yeah,
it's great. It's great. Like, honestly, you're gonna have to rent it from Amazon Prime.
Yes.
If you want to abide by the law, but get yourself a bottle of wine, get yourself down to Pirate Town with Gina Davis.
And watch my mum in a movie.
Yeah. And watch this space for our all-female pirate.
Absolutely.
That is 100% being written now. I'm calendar blocking it in.
Yeah,
every
absolutely.
Saturday. Write script for Michelle Pfeiffer's pirate movie.
Yes. Shinbone Island. That's what we're calling it. Or something equally ridiculous.
Comment your suggestions for what we call this all-female pirate movie.
Yes, absolutely.
Yay. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me. This has been so overdue for somebody else to talk about this movie with me. Yeah,
Yes.
Totally.
I want to now spread the good word. I'm now a member of the Church of Cutthroat Island.
Yes.
I want to knock on people's doors and be like, have you heard the good news? Gina Davis is in a movie and she's a woman and she's a pirate and that's that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, get off my doorstep. And I'll be
you...
no, watch it on Amazon Prime.
Have you met our Queen and Saviour? Here is a cardboard cutout of Gina Davis.
As Morgan Adams. Off we go. Yay, I genuinely can't wait for you to bring your next movie on.
I'm going to have a good thing. It's going to have to be something equally empowering.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be because your parents seem to have been good educators in cinema.
They are great educators in cinema. Yeah, they really are. They really are.
I might even pick this for Radio Suffolk and go on there to talk about it, to be like, shut up everyone.
Spread the good word.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Do you have anything to plug?
Ooh, what do I have to plug? I mean, I'm still got my little art company, just Hannah Kate Paints, making little decorations and paintings and things. That's pretty much it at the moment. Dave and I have a theatre company, which is Gamma Ray Theatre, to go and follow us. But that's kind of in the background at the minute whilst we try and work out what's going on with COVID and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty much just paintings at the minute. Go and buy a painting. Nice. Why not? Maybe I'll do a pirate painting of Gina Davis. Yes. There we go. Done. Sold.
Yes, please. That would be amazing. Hey, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time on Why This Film. Bye.